the biggest games of 2019 was Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. It's been a long 4 years since we've checked in with our good friend Cal Kestis and BD1, but all of that's about to change later this month when we finally get our hands on the brand new sequel, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Here to talk about the game is its director, Stig Almason. Been trying to get you through those blast doors for 4 years, man. Where you been?
Working on a game.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Fallen Order was a favorite game of mine, I think for a lot of other people, I think we could say. I have fawned over it one-on-one with you a million times. When you are building off of a game that is already so polished and so well-loved, where do you go? What do you do?
It's a good question. For us, it was recognizing that we had something that was really good and not messing with it. We didn't want to tear down all the hard work that we put into the first game that fans recognized. They loved playing the game, so we just looked at our 4 pillars and we refined them.
Yeah.
We added more seasoning across the board. The game's bigger and better, and there's another pillar that we added too, is customization, and that became a focus for us.
Yeah. So let's talk about story, because I have spoken to a lot of Star Wars fans, and it has been amazing to me to hear how many people say the crew of the Mantis is their favorite crew. Cal Kestis is their favorite Jedi. How did it feel to sort of like bring that into the world and know that these characters are a huge part of Star Wars for people? And where did you want to take the story knowing that?
Are you talking about for Fallen Order or Survivor?
For Survivor.
Well, we were really happy with the way the story turned out for Fallen Order, and let me say, it came hot in the end. We barely got the thing done. For Survivor, it wasn't about like changing anything. It was about continuing the story. We already introduced them in the first game, like the main characters, Cal, BD, Seer, Marin, Grease.
Grease!
We didn't have to spend time introducing them for this game, so we were able to, really focus on like kind of getting inside their heads.
Yeah.
And this game is gonna be darker, and it's gonna be more emotional than the first one.
Love it. So let's talk about combat. You're talking about these 4 pillars. How is the combat system evolving? I had a lot of fun just getting my force power, swinging my saber around in the first one. How did you improve on that for this one?
You just played it recently too.
I did. I got to go to one of the preview events. They had some people out, some press out, and you let me play the game for a few hours, and whoo, it's good.
That's the reaction we like.
It's good. You can do a lot with those sabers now. You can do a lot.
Yeah. It's, again, with combat, it wasn't changing. It was just honing and refining. And I guess the big new feature that we have this time around is we're going from, 2 fully realized stances to 5. And because of that, we've got more. We also have more force powers. The skill tree is exponentially bigger. And the players, you're all going to get a chance to kind of, build out Cal and how he becomes full Jedi mastery the way that you want.
Yeah.
And that was a major goal for us.
It feels so good. There's the new saber stance, the dual wield. I call it animal style. I like to go in animal style and dual wield with Cal, and it is so satisfying to just come in with both arms swinging, flying around. It feels good.
Yeah, I heard somebody recently made a comment that it feels like Cal's basically a human propeller.
Yes.
In this game, which I thought was pretty accurate. But yeah, the dual wield, we had a version of that in the first game. It came in late. Again, another thing that came in hot. We weren't able to get it across the finish line as a completed stance. So that was one of the first things that we had on this game before we started working on the last two.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then, of course, there are new planets that we're exploring. And these environments are beautiful. And not only are they beautiful, but all of the nooks and crannies and the little side tunnels and hidden things, it just feels so much more dense than the first game. Like there's so much more to do.
Yeah. So just to talk about planets, we did the preview event recently, and Kobo was a big reveal.
Yeah.
And it's a massive planet.
Yeah.
It's like nothing that we've ever done before. But to be honest with you, we learned a lot making the first game, and we took those learnings into how we approach making these larger places on the second game. And the first game, it would be more kind of like. Cal approaches the environments with verticality, but they could be very somewhat narrow paths.
Yeah.
This game we have wide verticality.
Yeah, it felt huge.
Yeah.
And the amount of different ways I could get around now.
Just limited by your abilities.
Yeah.
So it's like we're taking our Metroidvania approach a step further, and just to talk about another planet, we're going to have Coruscant as well too.
Woo!
I think there's been a lot of speculation on that, and just confirming it here.
Wow. Cal's going to Coruscant. That's good. And another thing that I loved about the new planets is, about Kobo in particular, is it feels very lived in. There is a village that you can visit and interact with. There are characters now that when you're talking to them, they're like, hey, Cal, can you help me out with something? And you build relationships with these characters in a way that's much deeper than it was in the first game. And I loved all the people in Kobo.
Yeah, it's interesting. On the first game, we were kind of like Cal. We were just learning our way. We were new, team formed together. We had to get to know each other. We had to understand what game we were making. And on this game, it's a good reflection of Cal as well too, because we're more confident, we're more deliberate about our actions, and we were able to take on much greater challenges with how we approached some of these locations, and like you mentioned, the fidelity is really high.
Yeah.
Our environmental storytelling game has gone up, and we're also taking advantage of the new hardware. We're getting the full ray tracing treatment, which gives us beautiful lighting with
there's
depth and fidelity.
Yeah, there was a jungle area that I went through in the demo that you had for me, and it's gorgeous. Yeah. It's absolutely gorgeous.
And just having the more power with the CPUs, GPUs, faster SSDs, it's really allowed us to kind of operate at a more precise level.
Yeah.
And do bigger things.
It's interesting because Survivor really, Fallen Order really kind of was coming in at that time where it could almost straddle the next gen. And this feels very, very next gen, and I love that. Yeah,
I appreciate that you're recognizing
not just in the ooh ah shiny way, but it really feels like you're saying you're taking advantage of all that new stuff to make the world bigger, to make things more seamless, to make it feel just that much better.
Yeah, it was that was all the talk when we were finishing up the first game, and day one we made the decision, Gen 5.
Yeah, so we're talking around it, but we need to dive into this now. How's Cal? What's going on with Cal when we start this game?
I don't want to spoil anything, but
sure.
If you want, you could just ask him yourself.
I'm sorry. Is he? Ladies and gentlemen of Star Wars Celebration 2023, Cal Kestis himself, Cameron Monaghan.
We have an issue here.
I'm sorry, what is the issue?
Well, see, Anthony, Stig, you're talking about the story, gameplay, characters, but you haven't mentioned a poncho.
You're going off the script here, Cam.
I wasn't supposed to come out here today, but we have to get to the bottom of this. Stig. Can you confirm here today, will there be a poncho in the game?
I told you we weren't going to talk about this today.
See, it's in my contract. I would only agree to be in the second game if there was a poncho. You think it was because of your story that people played the first game? No. Poncho.
Here's the thing, a lot of people don't know this, but when you ask Cameron, like, what elements of him and his personality and who he is went into Cal Kestis, he said it's mostly ponchos.
It's mostly poncho. It's 99% poncho.
You see this guy walking around town, ponchos all the way down.
I mean, I'm not going to leave the stage until we find out whether or not there's a poncho.
Well,
You're not going to get an answer.
Blink once if there's a poncho.
What was that?
Blink once if there's a poncho.
you don't. Okay, let's get this back on track. Let's get this back on track. Here's a real question.
Yes.
It's not poncho related.
Okay.
So
It's gonna be hard.
It's okay. Be prepared for this.
Okay.
How has Cal evolved since we last saw him? What's going on with him?
Well, first thing I noticed is he's not wearing a poncho.
Cameron!
Right. Now, it takes place 5 years later. It's a bad time for Cal. It's a bad time for the galaxy. The Empire is more in control than ever. He's been on the run. He's broken up and disbanded from the Mantis crew. Nowhere safe. And
Did you make Grease mad? You better not have made Grease mad. I'll be so mad at you.
I mean, how do you know that Grease wasn't the issue?
Because I know Grease.
He's never worn a poncho once in his life.
Oh my God, Cameron!
Never trust a man who doesn't wear a poncho.
So the crew's been split up.
It's been split up, and we've watched Cal kind of evolve and change over these last few years. And so he's grown more distrustful, he's more wary, and it's kind of, it's reflected in the way that he interacts with the world around him. And over the course of the game, he's given this spark of hope, and that hope kind of drives forward the story. And I don't want to say where it goes from there, but it's pretty incredible.
Nice. And you obviously have an amazing team of developers, an amazing cast.
Yeah, I think a lot of the team members are here right now.
Yeah, a lot of y'all are here.
Shout out to Jedi.
Shout out to Respawn. So many amazing developers, such an amazing cast. The game, obviously fan response was wonderful. How did it feel for the two of you to be jumping back into this galaxy and coming together again to tell more stories?
We knew we wanted to do this before we finished the first game, so it was, we had been talking about it, so it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Yeah, while we were finishing the first game, we were starting to have conversations about where we wanted to see the story go and what we wanted to do with these characters. We have an amazing cast and crew. People like Deborah Wilson, who plays Seer, incredible. Tina Ivlev, who plays Marin.
We got some Night Sisters right there.
Danny Roback as Grease. And we also have incredible people on the production side as well. A lot of our story team are really incredible, and our performance director, Tom Keegan, came back as well. And a lot of it was, we felt that there was a recipe that really, really worked, and I think everybody wants to capture lightning in a bottle twice and do so much more with it than we did with the first one. I think that we were all hoping that we would have the opportunity to be able to tell more story, and we feel honored to be able to talk more about ponchos, poncho gameplay.
The thing is, too, I think it needs to be said, I think you understand the character of Cal better than anybody. And, you've taken it to a new level on this game, and you've really gotten into his head, because you basically are inside of his head. So it's been fantastic working with you.
I mean, thank you. But once again, I think that the poncho in the first game did the heavy lifting.
You gotta.
I don't know. It's hard to say no. Being very persuasive, all the people here, but I'm going to say I don't know.
Listen.
It's a betrayal, Stig. I'm hurt.
I want you two to be able to talk through this in private without people. Can we just like put up some B-roll? Do you have anything that we can show while you two work this out?
Well, we did bring the final trailer, but I don't know. I don't think anybody wants to see it. Do you guys want to see it?
Let's do it.
There isn't a poncho in it, but there's some really cool stuff. Should we roll it?
Yes. Let's check it out.
You were only a child when they sent you off to war. Now look at you. The weight of a galaxy on your shoulders.
Didn't I tell you to be more careful about who you scan? Come on.
I cannot tell you who you must become, or where the line is drawn. There are no easy choices. These are dark times. We have few allies.
Good to see you, Cal.
The odds are against us. And they will always be against us.
Now or never.
Seems our destinies are intertwined.
But I can tell you this. If there is any hope of surviving, we must stand against the darkness.
To admit, even without the poncho, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I did notice one or two places where a poncho could go, but you're right, I think it's good. And also, I saw a lot of people clapping when that Rancor come up. You think you want to fight that Rancor, you don't. I spent 30 minutes trying to fight that Rancor, Stig. It was not easy.
It's tough.
It was
Rancor's
not easy.
got to be tough.
So this looks absolutely amazing. One thing that stuck out to me immediately was this very, very large boy that you are fighting, this big bad. He's very, very impressive. Who is this?
So his name is Revels, and he's Gendai, and he's the leader of a gang called the Bedlam Raiders, that are like, they're kind of the kind of bad gang in on planet Kobo.
Okay. Yeah, he looks very intense. Very intense.
He's literally a wrecking ball.
I love it. I also saw some moments where it looks like Cal is calling in a friend or partnering up with somebody to pull some things off.
Yeah, that's what we termed as characters and gameplay, or SIGs, and kind of building off of how we dipped our toes into the water with BD on the first game, having a buddy AI. What we learned from that, we decided to have more opportunities for Cal to negotiate the worlds, whether it's through combat or through environmental puzzles, with a friend. And the story's being told the whole time.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, it looks like, and everybody that you partner with obviously has their own strengths. Talking about those characters, we saw some very intense moments. What was it like for you working with these characters again and working with these people again one-on-one?
I mean,
Something about ponchos.
We have incredible, not only our returning cast, but we have a bunch of new characters as well. We have an actor named Noshir Dalal, who is incredible. He's a new friend and ally for Cal named Boda Kuna. And we have an actor named Cody Fern, who's incredible as well, and a bunch of people who we can't say now, but we were on the performance capture stage for the last 2 years working on it, and I can say that there was a lot of really incredible performances that were given and some very special moments, and I can't wait for people to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the size of the NPC cast, it just trounces how many NPCs that we had in the last game. So the story is unquestionably bigger. And one thing I want to mention as well, too, that trailer that we just saw, everything's real. There's nothing in there that's pre-rendered cutscene. It's all on-the-fly, real hands-on-sticks gameplay. So it's something that we're very proud of. And that's been the way that we've done all of our trailers. So just expect that kind of pedigree with this team.
Ooh. Ooh. You were all wondering, I was thinking it too. That means that speeder sequence was real. That looks intense. Here we go. This is it. We mentioned it. The people are waiting. They want to know. Customizable. Customizable elements to Cal. What are we doing? Bring it on.
So like I said before, this became...
I'm waiting.
So like I mentioned before, this became... We made things like ponchos on the last game.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and we got... there were some people out there that weren't happy with them.
No.
And... we decided that we thought we really nailed the way that we did the customizable parts for the lightsabers. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to give the lightsaber treatment to all of Cal and BD. So they're real high value parts that you can swap and switch to your heart's content. I don't even know how many permutations or combinations that you could do. But it was something that we put a huge amount of effort into on this game, and I hope people appreciate it.
I can tell you, just in the demo that I played, if you don't mind me saying, just in the demo that I played, I had picked up a few different outfits for Cal, and they all looked incredibly different. I had like the classic Star Wars bomber jacket. I had something that kind of looked almost like Clone Wars era armor with like a cape. There was so many different things. So many things.
A cape is almost like a rear poncho.
Yeah, think of it as the mullet of ponchos.
Okay, you're selling me a little bit.
Which, by the way, the mullet is also very good.
You want to talk about the mullet?
The mullet is, it's a Jedi in the front, the party in the back.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. It's, maybe that will be the canon look, I'm not sure, but I think I like classic Cal.
I think canon look is probably the mullet and the handlebar mustache. I think that's probably, but I love how much customization has been put into this, and even with something like the sabers, you can do more with the sabers now, which I really loved. I was telling Cam that I made the most custom chromed out candy apple paint job saber that I've ever seen.
Yeah, there's some things that you can do in there that honestly make me cringe. But we want to make sure that there's people out there that want to do cringy things, and that's fine. We want to be able to give everybody that opportunity if that's how they want to play.
That's how I'm going to be playing it for sure.
Yeah. How did it feel to see what it would be like if you could grow a full beard? Was that amazing for you?
Well, in the first game, Cal had the most luxurious hair out of pretty much any character I've ever seen.
He did.
Ever.
We talked a lot about his hair.
And so, you know, I feel like the natural progression was to have one of the most amazing beards that you could ever find. And there are some serious beards.
There really are.
I think everyone here should be envious of the glorious beard of Cal.
I was envious. I was like, wow.
And in a way, a beard is kind of like a poncho for the face.
It's a face poncho. Beard comes from the Latin for face poncho, I think. Well, this looks amazing. I want to thank you all for coming out and sharing this with us. I mean, before you go, is there anything that you'd like to say to the fans, to everybody here at Star Wars Celebration? We've got some Cals and some Marins up front here.
And not a single poncho on any of them. There's a poncho!
One poncho!
There's a poncho! Yeah! Thank you. Honestly, all I can say is we're very proud of this. I know that everyone who's working on something for a long time is proud of it, but we're especially proud of this thing. You know, it's been an amazing few years, and we can't wait for people to see it. And the one thing I also want to say to people is, please don't spoil it. Please. The ending to this game is so cool. It's my favorite thing that we've gotten to do so far. It's so freaking cool. So whatever you do, don't give it away, and enjoy it. And, you know, maybe try to find a poncho?
I just want to thank all of you. I mean, this is overwhelming, all the support. And we do it for all of you. And that's the truth. We do it for all of you. And, you know, there's nothing more special than putting a smile on somebody's face, and this game does that. This series does that. And last but not least, big shout out to the Jedi team at Respawn, and those of you who made it here, and all of you back home in LA and other parts of the world, and our partners at Lucasfilm, and our you know, it's the support that we get internally and from all you is incredible, and we really appreciate it.
We couldn't do it without you. Thank you.
Well, it is something really special, and y'all should be proud of it. I cannot wait for people to see it. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is out on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on April 28th. Thank you all so much for stopping by today. We really appreciate it. Give it up for Stig Amundsen and Cameron Monaghan. More to come live from Star Wars Celebration. Don't go anywhere.